Obviously they've got their issue with Dubois. We'll see what happens, but that's for them to overcome now, and it's a very difficult situation.
Daniel Dubois ill, can't fight. Fighters' health and safety is the most important thing. So I felt for Daniel, but look, if he rests and...
Eddie Hearn's tone carries a mix of caution and unease. This isn't your run-of-the-mill delay, it's heavyweight boxing, a sport where a single disruption can derail months of build-up. He's well aware of the risk. Replacing an opponent like Usyk at the last minute is a daunting, if not impossible, task. Something about the situation doesn't sit right, and Hearn seems to feel that tension as well. Then, just as the atmosphere grew tense, Adam Smith stepped in, adding fuel to the fire with pointed speculation about the timing of Dubois's involvement, leaving fans and insiders questioning what's really going on behind the scenes.
They don't have to check way, and hopefully they can find a replacement if Dubois is out of the fight.
Any heavyweights that you could...
Adam Smith isn't convinced for a second. Dubois suddenly coming down sick on the eve of a press event? To him, it feels less like coincidence and more like strategy. The timing raises eyebrows, and the suggestion of a possible cover-up hangs heavy in the air. When Smith calls it speculation, it's not idle chatter, it carries weight, the kind of suspicion that makes the entire boxing world stop and listen. Something beneath the surface doesn't add up, and that unease is spreading quickly. And it's not just voices in Britain adding to the pressure. Across the Atlantic, veteran trainer and analyst Teddy Atlas chimed in, bluntly questioning whether Dubois, or even his camp, truly has the appetite for the fight ahead. His words echoed what many were already whispering: who actually wants to step into that ring, and who's looking for the exit?
Daniel Dubois gets ill, just around the press conference time, a lot of rumors, speculation, names being...
Teddy Atlas isn't mincing words. In his view, Usyk isn't concerned with names or reputations, he's a fighter who just wants someone standing across the ring. But with Dubois stepping away, the clock is now ticking, and the scramble to secure a credible opponent has become urgent. Atlas's hesitation speaks volumes, though. It's one thing to talk about finding a replacement, but quite another to find someone who can stand anywhere near Usyk's level on such short notice. That doubt lingers like a shadow over the negotiations. Then came a decisive shift. Speculation gave way to confirmation when Johnny Nelson stepped in, delivering a breaking update straight from Frank Warren's camp, an announcement that changed the tone of the entire conversation.
And what he wants to do, he wants to fight the best guy available. He was ready to fight the best guy available, the world champion. So give me the next best guy. Well, this guy, you sure? I mean, you want it? Yeah.
And just like that, the speculation turns into fact. Johnny Nelson confirms it: Dubois won't be stepping onto the stage at the press conference. No stare down, no presence, no acknowledgement at all. Just an empty seat where the challenger should have been. Whether it's illness or excuse remains unclear, but one thing is certain: for a fighter on the grandest stage of his career, this kind of no-show raises more questions than answers. The optics alone are damaging, and the silence only makes the whispers grow louder. But Nelson didn't stop there. His next revelation brought the focus squarely onto Dubois's trainer, Don Charles, hinting at deeper issues within the camp and adding yet another layer to an already murky storyline.
Champion Daniel Dubois is sick and currently being evaluated by the doctor. A replacement is being pursued in the event that he doesn't pass the...
Johnny Nelson's delivery says it all: shock, disbelief, and that uneasy drop in his voice that tells you he feels something is badly wrong. Just hours earlier, Dubois's trainer sounded upbeat, insisting Daniel was prepared to speak for himself. But suddenly, the narrative flipped into chaos. You can hear the hesitation in Nelson's tone, as though even he can't decide if this is a genuine setback or a psychological ploy designed to rattle Usyk. He raises the possibility of a red herring, a last-minute distraction to break Usyk's focus. But if that's the strategy, it's playing with fire. Because the darker scenario lingers: what if Dubois doesn't appear at all? That's where speculation turns into real alarm. Nelson voices the question no one wants to confront: who in their right mind could step in on short notice to face a technician and punisher like Usyk? The answer is grim. It's improbable, maybe even reckless, and it highlights the uncomfortable truth. Dubois may not be in the physical condition, or the mental space, to see this rematch through. His absence at the press conference isn't just a publicity hiccup. It feels like the first crack in a foundation that could collapse entirely under the weight of expectation.
He was in high spirits, saying, "Donnie, you're coming to the press conference." He said, "No, I'm letting Daniel do the talking." So this is fresh news. Unless it's a red herring. Unless I'm all right, I'll turn up to fight. I don't know. But what if he doesn't fight? What do we do? It's not the top of the bill. It's still a great bill. Would they be able to get someone in to stand in at short notice?
Frank Warren's frustration cuts through like a man watching months of careful planning unravel in real time. This wasn't simply a fight date on the calendar, it was the storyline of Dubois's redemption, a carefully rebuilt arc meant to prove he could rise again. And now, with one collapse, that entire narrative is shattered. Warren's anger doesn't just come from losing a main event. It's about lost trust, wasted time, and an investment that can't easily be recouped. He spells it out in detail, the money funneled into training camps, private chefs, elite sparring partners, flights, venues, setups. Tens of thousands, maybe more, gone in an instant. You can hear the sting in his words, the kind of disappointment that only comes when the damage could have been avoided. What makes it worse is the financial trap. Even insurance doesn't cover situations like this cleanly. That means Warren is staring at a double loss, financial and reputational. And when he breaks from his usual composure to admit he is very, very disappointed, it lands heavily. This isn't slick promoter talk. It's the voice of someone who feels genuinely betrayed. Warren isn't the type to cast himself as a victim, which is exactly why his tone hits harder. If he sounds this wounded, you know the situation has reached a breaking point. And the fallout isn't just his burden. Every ticket holder, every fan who bought into the promise, every undercard fighter depending on the spotlight, they all share in this letdown. Yet, even while standing in that storm of frustration, Warren tries to maintain a professional front. What he hints at next could be the only clue to where Dubois's future, and this unraveling storyline, might head from here.
Pissed off. I mean, he was a big fight. He's trained very hard. If you don't fight, you don't get paid. You imagine the cost involved in a training camp. Booking places to set the camp up, bringing the sparring partners in, the nutritionists, the chefs, trainers, and everybody, and you don't get paid. It's a massive loss. You can't insure it, or if you do, it costs a fortune to insure. But very, very.
Frank Warren's tone shifts noticeably here. The fire of frustration gives way to something softer, an attempt at reassurance, both for the fans and for the financial backers who feel this blow. He insists that Dubois isn't finished, that this is merely a setback, not the end of the road. But if you listen closely, the conviction wavers. Phrases like, once he's ready, sound more like placeholders than promises. And ready for what, exactly? Is Warren talking about physical readiness, mental resilience, or simply the courage to walk back into the arena after pulling out just days before the biggest night of his career? Warren promises that Dubois will be back in camp soon. Still, even he must know this isn't just about sparring schedules or conditioning drills. This is about reputation, credibility, and the brutal memory the boxing world already holds. Everyone remembers Dubois going down against Usyk the first time. This rematch was supposed to flip that script, to serve as redemption. Instead, the image now is of a fighter who disappeared when the pressure mounted. Whether it was illness, nerves, or something that sits uneasily between the two, the damage to perception is done. Fans have long memories, and once doubt creeps in, it rarely leaves. So the looming question becomes unavoidable: when Dubois returns, will anyone genuinely believe he's prepared for elite-level competition again? That credibility gap may prove harder to close than any physical injury. And if you think Warren's damage control was hard to digest, wait until you hear Dubois's own reflections on their first clash with Usyk. His words might just leave you stunned.
Decision afterwards what we're going to do, but Daniel, once he's ready and over his illness, he'll be back into camp and we'll have him out soon.
Dubois still can't shake the ghost of that first Usyk fight. The body shot controversy lingers in his mind like an unresolved case, and he speaks as though he was robbed of justice, denied the win he believes was his. But here's the harsh reality: true champions don't live in the past. They adapt, evolve, and find a way forward. Calling it a robbery won't erase the image that burned into everyone's memory: Dubois on one knee, unable to continue. When he insists that next time he'll throw everything at Usyk, it comes across less as confidence and more as overcompensation. The desire for redemption is obvious, but desire alone won't dismantle a technician as precise and ruthless as Usyk. Bold words about landing everywhere raise a bigger question: can Dubois even close the distance long enough to land clean shots, let alone outlast the mental chess game Usyk thrives on? What his statement truly reveals is a fighter still haunted, still searching for vindication instead of a strategy. And in the unforgiving world of elite boxing, that mindset is a fatal flaw. Redemption isn't earned through frustration, it's earned through adjustment. If there is a next time, Dubois will need to bring more than anger and wounded pride to the table. And that's where Tony Bellew steps in, offering not sympathy, but a sharp reality check. He points directly at the mental battles Dubois has yet to conquer, the unseen opponents that may be standing in his way long before Usyk ever does.
he's been down a few times with body shots, so yeah, there's definitely this time I've got to throw the kitchen sink at him.